Greetings and welcome to The Beauty of Faith, a sacred art podcast on the way of beauty through the church's feasts and seasons of worship and prayer. I'm Dr. Jem Sullivan, your guide as we move from seeing to contemplation to worship and praise of God, the divine source of all that is true, good, and beautiful. The season of Lent begins on Ash Wednesday and leads us on a journey of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving to Holy Week and the great feast of Easter. On Ash Wednesday, the first reading at Mass is taken from the prophet Joel. We hear the invitation to return to the Lord, to return to God with our whole heart. This beautiful painting from the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C., guides reflection on what it means to return to the Lord in repentance and confidence in God's mercy. The painting is titled The Return of the Prodigal Son, and it's the work of the 17th century Spanish Baroque painter Bartolomé Esteban Murillo. So join me as we read this painting from left to right. Let's begin on the left, where we see a young boy leading a calf for the feast that this family will soon enjoy together. And on the right, a man holds a platter with fine clothes and a ring. These are symbols of the return of the prodigal son to his family. And on the right, we see the older son who is somewhat unhappy as he looks over the scene. But the artist wants to focus our eyes on the center of the action, which is the father and his prodigal son. We see the son kneeling at his father's feet, begging for forgiveness. The son's clothes are tattered and his feet are muddy. He represents all of us, all of humanity, separated from God. Then we see the father leaning down to gently embrace his son and welcome him back into the family. And I'm sure you've noticed the small dog, the family pet perhaps, who playfully jumps up to greet his master. At the center is the embrace of the father and his prodigal son. This is an image of what happens when we return to the Lord. As we walk through Lent to Holy Week to Easter Sunday, we encounter a God who is rich in mercy beyond our imagining. So, like the prodigal son, may we also return to the Lord with simple Lenten acts of prayer, giving up favorite things and giving to the poor, as we entrust ourselves into the embrace of a loving and merciful God.